All right, so yesterday you should have taken notes on how climate and weather impacted the regions in which people live. And part of your discovery should have been that it determines a lot of where people live. And so we're going to focus on that today. We're going to look a little bit how the location of where somebody lives can severely affect their life for the good or the bad. So just think to yourself, because I know you guys can't answer out loud. Where do most of the world's people live? Do you think they live along the coast or farther inland? And the answer to that is along the coast. This is like a live population density map, and you can see that more people live around coasts than they do in the center um, of the continent. So keep that in mind. Think of some pros of coastal living. One, the weather's usually nice. Water actually moderates temperature. It makes things warmer. It's like a conductor. So the weather is usually more predictable in coastal living. You have access to food, fishing, and then economically, you have ports and you have access to other parts of the world. And so those are reasons that people initially settled on the coasts of different places. But what are some of the cons of coastal living? We just experienced one, a hurricane. People living in the middle of continents don't necessarily have as bad of extreme weather as people living on the coast. Another con of coastal living is actually come about because of climate change, and that's what we're going to focus on today, is how coastal cities are changing rapidly because of climate change. We just talked about why so many people settle near the coast, so I'm going to skip that. I want you to watch this video real quick. All right, so there you can see some of the effects climate change has had and will have on coastal cities in the very near future. And so, what you are going to do is choose a coastal community around the world. So, that's Cape Cod is like up in the Northeast around New England, the Outer Banks. You probably watch that show, but it's actually near the Carolinas, the South Florida coast, New Orleans, and the Gulf Coast. San Diego, coastal Alaska, any coastal communities, and you're going to create a newspaper article about the coastal concerns. And the template for that is in Google Classroom. But your newspaper article needs to include at least one major city that will be affected in that coastal community, the number of people living in that coastal community, not just the city you're talking about, but the number of people, and the humanitarian and economic impacts of coastal flooding in that area. So if that continues to flood, how is that going to affect people? Is that going to cause homelessness? Is it going to cause migration? And then how's that going to impact communities economically? And then I want you to have at least 2 pictures on that newspaper article as well, and turn that in today when you are done.